Good morning. I'm Dr. Jedida Muturi, a life coach. Today, I want to speak to students and especially the KCSE candidates who are just about to do their exams. I want us to look at a few things that this candidate need to do in the last minute so that he or she can finish well. So, my topic today is how to finish well. Number one, the student need to set a goal. What do I mean with a goal for a student? That is the grade that the student wants to achieve at the end of this KCSE exam. It could be a goal that they set all the way in Form 1, aligning it with their career. And even right now, it is the same goal they are pursuing. Take, for example, a student wants to achieve a B- grade. That is the main goal. Number two, we look at how do you achieve that goal. You need to break that goal into small pieces that are achievable. What do I mean by that? We get now to the subject. The student should be able to outline all the subjects he or she is doing and then set a target for each subject. Say, for example, the student who wants to get a mini grade of B-. If this student set a mean, say for English, it is a B. Those are 8 points. For Kiswahili, it is a B+. For English, B is 9. For Kiswahili, he sets at B+. That is 10 points. For the mathematics, let even the student say and get a D+. That is 4 points. Chemistry, 4 points. D+, 4 points. Biology, let us say he or she gets a C+. That is 7 points. When it comes to history and geography, that student, let's say he gets a B+. Then for CRE, the student gets an A-. Then in the technicals, the student gets, say, a B+. If we add all those points, they can get to, say, 9 plus 10 is 19 plus 8 is 27. 27 plus 7, that is 34. 34 plus a 10 is 44. 44 plus an A- is 11 is 55. And then the ABC, let them get a B+, which is 10. So 57 plus 10 is equal to 67. That one is not even giving us a B-, it is giving us a B. So a student who targets to get a B should have gotten those different grades in the different subjects. This arrangement may not happen to all the students. As we know, any student has got their favorite subjects that they do very well. So those subjects may be sciences. So under sciences and mathematics, that student will set for themselves very high targets. For languages, generally many students get average. That is about C plus B-. And then there are those students who do very well in humanities and also technicals. So their grades for the subjects will be high, and then the balancing occurs. So this setting of the goal and dividing it into small achievable parts is dependent on the student himself or herself. I would request you that you try that and subdivide your main goal into those small targets and start working for each one of them. Then number 3, how do you still achieve that goal? You have even set the small targets. Number 3, this is where the rubber meets the road. The candidate needs to master the content. We bear me witness that we forget. And the same case a student forgets. What the student learned in Form 1, in Form 2, in Form 3, even in Form 4, they have forgotten. How do you enhance the remembrance of this? I'm hoping by now a candidate must have summarized all their notes from Form 1 to Form 4, because I can't imagine how a candidate will read 4 full exercise books in CRE in one night. I doubt how the student can do that. Similarly with all the other subjects, it's not possible to read all those notes even in 1 or 2 days. So I expect that every student has already done their summaries. And this is one of the most important things any student can do for them to pass. Because the mastery of content means that the student keeps on reading and rereading these notes. And not just reading to finish. They read and evaluate their content. Say, for example, a subject has 50 topics, all the way from Form 1 to Form 4. As a student is reading those notes systematically from Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4. As a student reads 1 or 2 topics, the student needs to keep aside these summary notes and then take a rough paper somewhere and try to evaluate their understanding and their remembrance by writing down what they have just read. And if they can be able to remember like 90% of what they have read of those 2 topics, it means that student is very good in those 2 topics, and then gets to the next 2, to the next 2, and they evaluate. You read and evaluate, read and evaluate. So by the time the student is reading all the CRE, she can say, out of the 50 topics, I can remember 40 of them offhand. Then that student is good. That student is ready to do the exam. And that student cannot miss to get between a B+ and an A-. Right before the exam starts, the student should have done that, because it is never magical to pass. It's never a miracle. The miracle only comes in when the Lord reminds you something that you had forgotten. But if you had not put it in your mind, how will He remind you? So, that is one thing, mastery of the content. And this one should be done long before the exam starts with all the subjects. How do you read that? This is another challenge that faces many students. They are unable to plan themselves nicely to be able to have read all the notes for all the subjects before the exam comes. How do you go about it? You take the main exam timetable, the NEC timetable, and then from it, I normally do that for students, you extract a revision timetable from it. Say 2 weeks before the KCSE starts, you draw a timetable from the end. For example, the last KCSE paper could be physics, and it is normally physics many times. So your first subject for revision timetable, it should be physics. Then the second one is the second last on the timetable. So you start from the end when you are drawing the revision timetable, such that by the time you are nearing the exam, you are revising for the exams that are coming fast. For example, on Monday, there is English. A student, English paper 1, should be reading for English that Sunday night. The student should be reading for English paper 1. And then during the exam, the student now starts rereading for the exams for the second time. That's how you manage to have read for the exam before it starts. The other thing that helps a student to master the content is by the time the student has finished the syllabus, they should have fine, thank you.